Hi, I'm Christa Jacobson, head mistress of the Budokai, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. In today's video, we're going to discuss 5 self-defense moves that everyone should know.
1, 2, 3.
Now these 5 self-defense techniques that we're going to do today focus on using the palm heel strike. Now depending on what martial art that you study, the terminology will be different. Some people call this particular strike a Taisho Zuki or a Teisho Uchi. Some people call it Shako-Ken. Regardless of the terminology or the name that you want to use for this particular strike, it is a palm heel strike. Now these 5 techniques are going to focus on using a palm heel strike. And these 5 techniques is something that everyone should know. Utilize these 5 techniques so that you can protect yourself and get back to safety. So here we go, 5 self-defense moves that everyone should know. Let's begin.
First technique is going to be against a right grab. They grab, counter grab. So as soon as you counter grab, step back with the left foot, and as you slide that left foot back, you're channeling up the body line here, getting out of his field of vision, striking with Taisho all the way up to the jaw, and then finishing with Oso Togurai. Now I do want to say this one thing, and this is something that we've talked about before, but a lot of times when you guys see this position, right? Again, just reiterating, we do that a lot in kata, and that's because we're trying to train our body to go through the target, right? So obviously, real quick, if I strike with Mr. Dupree, if I counter grab, let's just say I strike, see I'm right here when I start, I'm 50-50, I might be leaning forward to here, but as I strike through, see how I'm in this forward bow, I'm in this position coming like this? So when you guys are doing these kata, you're not finishing the strike point here, you've struck at this point and you've pushed through. As he grabs here, I'm going to counter grab, step back, striking, going up, striking with the jaw as hard as I can, pushing the head back, and I'm going to extend this arm, right? I also kind of want to get this leg to come back a little bit. So as I strike, I've got this position, see how I've sunk my weight, I get Oso Togurai, and then finish him as here, right? So let's try that again. And here we go. He grabs. 1, 2, 3. Technique number 2, 2-hand grab. Now, when he grabs here, okay, what we're going to be doing in this, let me see some real quick. So one of the best ways to just knock somebody, get a knockout, a KO, right, is if you take your Taisho Zuki, and we've already talked about how to do a Taisho Zuki and how to use it properly in a self-defense situation. But if you take that spot and you swing it and you hit right behind the ear right there, if you guys take your palm and you strike the back of your, just right there, you could literally feel how sensitive that is. That is a knockout. So we're going to be taking this strike, which is right behind the ear, we're swinging using that Taisho or that palm strike to the ear in this technique. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is going to be a 2-hand grab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left hand over the top and I'm going to kind of secure both hands, right? And as I step back to kind of secure my base, my hand is kind of down in a natural position, so I'm not in his field of vision. So as I counter grab and step back, I'm striking right there, right behind the ear. Now as he moves his head, right, this is the point where we're going to get that second Taisho. Your left hand that's already on top, you're just going to jam it, pushing it backwards right there, and then shove him back. So if this doesn't get the knockout, that's going to be jamming them backwards. Now we're doing technique number 3. We're going to do this as a kind of a rear, kind of off 45 angle grab, right grab, left shoulder type of thing, okay? Now I do want to talk about the various angles of Taisho or the palm heel strike real quick, because we're going to be angling or using the palm strike differently than what you've kind of seen it previous. Generally, you see us jamming the chin, coming across this way, that type of stuff. We're going lower gate with the palm strike. When you do a lower palm strike, you can't do it in the same manner that you would do it this way. You've got to turn the hand the other way around. So if I do a palm strike, if I'm going to go down to like the growing, you know, the hip, this lower area, you're jamming that way, pushing down, so that also gives you the ability to then grab what you need to grab, and as you rip what you need to rip, you can follow that up with a straight shuto to the throat to add a little bit more effectiveness to your technique. He grabs. We talked about Makura Uke, that pillow block, just putting that up there, making sure you got it secure. Now as we turn, he might have his hands up for a punch. So I'm going to turn, I'm going to make sure the thing you hit there, as I turn, that palm strike is going to go in a downward press right into the groin, and I'm striking. Now as I grab, whatever's there, and I rip whatever's there, this hand is going to be straight shuto to the throat, right there to the side, to the sternocleidomastoid mastoid, and you're striking here, and then you're just going to get out of dodge, right? So let's look at the technique one more time. So he's going to grab it as he turns. 1, 2, come back through. 1, 2. When we talk about Iken Hisatsu, it's not specifically a technique that you do to end it with one strike. It's a mentality that you have and an intent that you have that you're going to end it with one strike. So to practice this idea or this philosophy of Iken Hisatsu, Mr. Priest's gonna be over here, we're gonna have an opponent that's just gonna be, in this situation, just kind of walking up to us. And as he walks, I'm just gonna drive forward, and I want you to practice making sure you get the exact spot. You're gonna be striking, and again, we're talking about that forward bow, and he's just gonna take a step back here, and then I'm going to be in position. I want to be able to initiate before that hand even comes up as a threat. Does that make sense? We want to make sure that we're putting it in perspective to where we can then be on the offense. Make sure that as he comes in, I want to make sure I'm here. Now notice when I jump forward and I strike, I'm bringing my left hand up as cover. It's because just in case he kicks, I'm here, or in case he throws a punch over here, I can cover. I mean, this hand obviously can cover if he throws over here, but this hand has to come up. We don't want to go like this and then keep the hand down. As he comes in, technique number 5, and this one's going to be a left grab, right punch. So as he grabs, again, you're going to counter grab, they grab, you grab, right? You don't want them to have an advantage. In this case, we're not counter grabbing with the same hand. Which, you know what I mean, like we've seen previous techniques. Here we're going to counter grab with the opposite hand. And remember when I said there's a different way of using the Taisho, real quick, like we could do it striking this way, we could do Taisho coming back to the back of that ear. If you're going to go to the groin, we could strike down to the groin this way and snapping through and all this kind of stuff. There's lots of different ways of using that palm strike or palm heel or, you know, Taisho Zuki or whatever. Every different art uses different names, right? So he grabs, I'm going to counter grab. I'm going to step back, I'm going to strike this elbow, hyperextending. Now, as I strike, I'm then going to pivot the hand to where my thumb gets into the wedge. And I'm going to rotate this over into this type of a lock to lock the arm. Now, once I get to this point, I'm going to side kick that back leg so I can widen his base, which will extend that arm. Now, see where I've got it here? At this point, I'm going to use the Taisho to break the arm, you know, and then I can cover out. So as he grabs, I counter grab, I step back, I strike, and then from there I'm going to rotate the arm over, side kick that leg, strike the arm. Strike, rotate, side kick, break the arm.
So there you go, 5 self-defense moves that everybody should know. Again, these 5 techniques really focused on using that Taisho or that palm heel strike into your opponent. Now there's lots of debate in the martial arts world about which one is better for self-defense, an open hand strike or a closed fist. In my opinion, you shouldn't limit your training. You should be learning techniques with open hand strikes as well as closed fist. Different situations call for different techniques. So never limit your martial arts training. If someone is trying to tell you to do one or the other, I don't know that that's the route to choose. I think you should learn techniques with both. You should learn techniques where you have a closed fist and utilizing strikes. You should also use techniques or learn techniques that have an open palm and using those type of strikes. So again, don't limit yourself when it comes to self-defense. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post 2 to 3 videos every single week on traditional Japanese martial arts and self-defense. And if you're interested in training in authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu, please check out my website at budoryuninjutsu.com. There you can see the 7 traditions, the list of different strategies and principles and philosophies that we teach. If you don't live next to one of our schools, you can always join the Budoryukai online ninjutsu dojo and start training with us that way. So thank you guys very much for your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. Until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Bye.